From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
By this time tomorrow, a new Indy 500 champion will be known to the entire world. Good evening, I'm Rafael Sanchez, filling in for Nicole Griffin. Despite no fans in the stands, race fans can't stay away from the iconic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. WRTV's Troy Washington reports on how tradition continues to sell outside the track.
Fans may not pack these stands come tomorrow, but real 500 fans won't be far from the action of the race.
Right west of me, the gravel lot is going to be full of lawn chairs tomorrow and watching the big screen, and everybody's going to do everything they can to enjoy it.
Steve Joyce is all set up and ready to make sure that fans feel tomorrow's energy.
Yes, we have a lot of fans coming out, and they're spending a little bit of money, but it's not the same. It's just, you know, we'd much rather have the fans in there coming out here happy to spend money and enjoy life, but it is what it is, and we got to be safe.
The historic fanless race is a first for fans. In fact, he and his business partner have never experienced anything like this of all their years setting up shop to sell to fans.
I personally have been coming to Indianapolis since 1990, wow. And Tom's been coming for 50 years, my boss.
Wow.
So, and he's a local speedway boy. I'm actually trying to find a ticket, and my guts wear a mask, and I want to put it in a picture frame and hang it on my racing memorabilia wall so we won't forget the year 2020.
For them, it's all about adjusting and providing the best possible experiences to customers stopping by. The plan is to give the fans some sense of normalcy, even though they won't be watching from the inside this year. We're just doing the best we can. We got our social distancing dots out in front of the trailer to keep the fans 6 feet apart, and we're doing what we can. Working for you in Speedway, Troy Washington, WRTV.
WRTV will be live on Facebook tomorrow to bring you the very latest from the highly anticipated race there at 16th and Georgetown. It has been a great Saturday, but will it be a great Sunday? Kyle Mounds is standing by with the very latest.
And Rafael, I think it will be. We've got another nice day lined up tomorrow. Temperatures across central Indiana this afternoon running in the middle 80s most spots. 85 downtown, 87 in Lafayette, but you see Bloomington at 75. That is a rain-cooled temperature. We have temperatures in the lower to middle 80s all around Indy, 84 in Castleton and Zionsville at 82 degrees. You can see those isolated downpours mainly south and east of Indianapolis. There's that one shower, and these are all kind of sliding back to the west. So a little bit of an unusual direction. One of those showers in Bedford, and we've got a heavier downpour here working its way toward Brookville and Liberty over about the next 20 minutes with some of that heavier rainfall. TrueCast shows that any of those will be fading with sunset. We'll take an hour-by-hour look at that race day forecast in a few minutes.
In more news, investigators say a 21-year-old man died after driving into a retention pond. Now, this all began this morning at the intersection of East 56th Street and Allisonville Road. A driver told police that he was sitting in his vehicle at the spotlight when a red car rear-ended him, bumped into his vehicle several more times, and then sped away. He veered off the road and drove down an embankment into that pond. A bystander ran to help him, but he says the driver refused to get out of the vehicle. Emergency crews also tried to convince him to get out of that car, but no success. The car then sank deeper into the water. The driver was unconscious. When they finally got him out, he died a short time later at the hospital. His name has not been released. Continuing coverage on this Saturday of the pandemic and its impact on our state. Today, the State Health Department reports 9 more COVID-19 deaths. 3,001 Hoosiers have now died from the coronavirus. More than 85,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus, and more than 969,000 people have been tested in our state with an 8.8 testing positivity. Purdue University students and staff will be selected at random for testing during the fall semester. The university already requires all students to have a negative test prior to arriving on campus. And now students who test positive must provide documentation that they've completed a 10-day isolation and are cleared to come to campus. Classes for most of Purdue's 40,000 students begins on Monday. Officials say the goal is to test about 10% of the campus each and every week. Students and staff will be notified by mail that they've been selected to be randomly tested. The number of COVID-19 deaths continues to rise in 25 states, plus, of course, Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. At the same time, drug companies are working on potential vaccines. Now President Trump finds himself in a new controversy, making an accusation against the FDA. ABC's Zareen Shah has the details.
More than 175,000 Americans have lost their lives to coronavirus. The CDC saying the death toll in the U.S. could reach 200,000 over the next 3 weeks. Drug companies are working on potential vaccines, with many already being tested in human trials. But President Trump lashing out Saturday morning on Twitter, offering no evidence, accusing the, quote, deep state or whoever over at the FDA of making it very difficult for drug companies to get people in order to test vaccines and therapeutics. Obviously, they're hoping to delay the answer until after November 3rd. We have reached out to the FDA but have not heard back. Meanwhile, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi calling his accusation dangerous.
Even for him, it went beyond the pale in terms of how he would jeopardize the health and well-being of the American people and accuse the FDA of politics.
The head of the CDC says it will take cooperation from entire communities to keep kids safe in school as the president pushes for schools to reopen everywhere. More than 200 students in Mississippi testing positive. Thousands more are in quarantine. One elementary school closing 1 week into in-person classes. Crowds at this high school football game in Alabama have the principal discussing changes for future games.
If there's an outbreak, there won't be high school football. I'm worried about my boys and my cheerleaders, my bands having a full season.
College campuses in at least 36 states seeing rises in cases. Notre Dame logging more than 330 cases. An op-ed in the student newspaper with the headline, "Don't make us write obituaries."
It's up to all of us to work together so we don't end up hurt.
After these images of crowded parties at Ohio State University, officials tell ABC News students who host or attend a party or any gathering with more than 10 people will face an interim suspension. At UNC Chapel Hill, classes are canceled this coming Monday and Tuesday, giving students time to move off campus and switch to remote learning. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
There were plenty of masks on Mass Avenue today. Hopefully you were out and about because businesses were there to welcome you. The business corridor hosted a sidewalk sale while the street remains closed until Labor Day to vehicle traffic. A mix of shopping and the sounds of music greeted those who made the best of this Saturday in Indy.
People are always come in, they always wear their masks. I'm just glad to see people getting out and about again.
The Mass Avenue Merchants Association encourages all visitors throughout the week to socially distance while shopping and, of course, to dine with required masks. Many nonprofit organizations in Speedway rely on parking cars during the Indy 500 as one of the biggest fundraisers of the year. But with no race fans at the race this year, these organizations have to find a new way to meet their goals. That story coming up on this Saturday right here on WRTV. On this Saturday, a show of appreciation today for the people who put their lives on the line every day. The town of Brownsburg held a Back the Blue rally you see right there. People lined the streets waving signs, flags, showing their support for the men and women of law enforcement. Organizers say police officers need to know that they're not being taken for granted.
Every police is not bad, and we have to remember that, and so we have to be out to support these guys when they're good.
Well, we felt it was important to make an overt act just to show them that their community does in fact understand the difficulty of what they do.
Organizers collected donations as well that will be given to the officers during their end-of-year banquet. The ripple effect of not having any fans in the stands at the Indy 500, it will take a toll on non-for-profit organizations. WRTV's Nicole Griffith reports on the groups who depend on this race weekend for their fundraising.
Typically in the days leading up to the Indy 500, the Speedway Lions Club would have about 40 members working right here in the Coke Lot as race fans pull in to camp out for the weekend. But obviously with no fans at the race this year, their largest fundraiser is canceled. Born and raised in Speedway, Vincent Noblet looks forward to Indy 500 race weekend every year.
I'm sad. I miss it. I grew up here. I love the race.
Noblet is on the board of directors for the Speedway Lions Club. The Coke Lot is where he joins dozens of others every year to greet fans. It's a fundraiser that typically brings in several $1,000s for the organization.
We have people, race fans from all over the country coming in. starting on Thursday before the race.
The money the Lions Club raises during Indy 500 weekend helps award scholarships to Speedway high school seniors and allows them to serve the community at several events throughout the year.
Race weekend really makes or breaks the Lions Club for the year and funds.
I mean, we have race family across the world. We always joke that we're a town of 12,000 people, but we invite our closest 300,000 closest friends and family members for the month of May. And we are asking if you have been to Speedway, if you love Speedway, if you have a special place in your heart for our town, we would love a contribution to the effort here to relieve some of the stress on these nonprofits.
The Exchange Club of Speedway has set up a donation section on their website to help fill the gap this year. Money will then be distributed to nonprofits that are hurting right now throughout the town. Working for you in Speedway, Nicole Griffin, WRTV.
And that rain chance for race day is very small, but we will be keeping an eye on radar for you. And you can see there are a couple of downpours out there for us this evening. Mainly some lightning, some brief heavy rain. That's going to be the main impact as these storms are moving into Brookville and Liberty. Again, they're moving back to the west, so a little unusual. And as you head around Bedford, also a few of those flashes of lightning, a couple more of those downpours that are popping up south of Greensburg. I think they'll mainly stay south of I-70, though. As we look over Indianapolis, you see some of those clouds mixing in with the blue sky, and temperature of 85 degrees in the Circle City. It's 84 in Kokomo, and again, that rain cooled 75 in Bloomington. Your temperature will be rebounding here, though, as we go through the next couple of hours, because that sun's not going to set here until about 8:30 tonight. At 8 o'clock, temperature of 81. We'll find those numbers into the middle 70s here as we approach 10 o'clock tonight, with numbers that'll only drop to 65. And I think we will have some patchy fog that develops as we go into tomorrow morning, so be aware of that. But here it is, that forecast for the Indy 500, and it is looking good here. Mostly sunny skies, temperatures that will be at 72 degrees at 9 a.m., 82 at 1 as we drop the green flag here, and then by 6 o'clock in the evening, there's that spotty thunderstorm chance and a temperature that'll make its way into the middle 80s. So here's TrueCast. This is noon tomorrow. See some of those clouds that will be filtering on through, and there's just a little bit of that light green, and we'll see exactly where those pop up. But you can see the best chance for rain is going to be back to our east over into portions of Ohio. Any showers that do develop will fade pretty quickly with sunset tomorrow. High temperatures approaching the 90-degree mark here in Lafayette Sunday afternoon at 89. It'll be 87 in Indy and Columbus, and with that humidity in the air, it'll feel like about 90 degrees, and that heat is going to be building for the week ahead. We'll be into the lower 90s, I think, by Tuesday and Wednesday. So it is certainly going to continue to feel more like summer. We're also keeping an eye on the tropics. This is Tropical Storm Laura near Puerto Rico. We also have Marco near the Yucatan Peninsula, and it looks like a very messy forecast here as we get later on into the week. Could be looking at a couple of hurricanes within the week that would hit portions of Louisiana, and that may bring some rain our way here as we go through time. Just those light rain chances here as we go Sunday and Monday, and then could see some of that tropical influence as we get into Thursday and Friday. Let's put it all together in your 7-day planning forecast. Now, the heat building, high temperatures in the 90s a couple of days. It will feel hotter than that, of course, with the humidity, but fairly dry weather. Then as we get into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we'll have that daily chance for a shower or thunderstorm. Raphael?
Kyle, thank you. Still ahead on WRTV. On this race weekend, a son shares fond memories of his father gone too soon and the legacy he leaves. The heartwarming story next, right here. One of the memories stirred last Sunday when Marco Andretti won the pole for tomorrow's race involved his cousin, John Andretti. You see, John started in 12 Indy 500s. He had colon cancer and he died in January. WRTV Sports Director Dave First talked to his son Jared about family, friends, and giving back.
It's not hard to find a memory or two of John Andretti, from his Stinger project on display at the airport to the Check It for Andretti colonoscopy stickers on Michael Andretti's cars, whether it's Alexander Rossi's or Reinhard Ray's, to Marco Andretti's helmet displaying Cousin John's old font logo. John's son Jarrett sees it all as well.
I would assume over the last couple of years, you and your dad would talk a lot about the 500 as it was approaching.
Yeah, we watched. I was there last year, and obviously we were a little bit disappointed when Alexander wasn't able to win. Obviously, he drove as hard as he could.
Yeah, they're due, obviously, too, this year. So, you know.
I think Dad's going to be helping him as much as he can.
Jarrett's career is just as fast-paced. You might see him on a dirt track one week or in a sports car the next.
What do you miss about your dad?
I mean, I honestly just miss talking to him.
John and Jarrett had big dreams, wanting to be teammates again in sports car racing, the way they did at the Rolex 24 in 2012. But time was becoming an issue.
There was times I was testing a sports car once in the winter of 2018 for a good buddy of ours named David Tilton. And he was trying to move his port while we were at the racetrack. And he was like, I think I can move it, and then I can get the belt on right here. And he goes, I don't think your mom would like that. I said, look, I'm not going to tell my mom. I'm not going to tell anybody if you get in that race car and drive it. He wanted to drive so bad, and that was the pinnacle for him, is just driving. And so we would have loved to have been teammates.
John's battle came to an end in January. The funeral in town was held on a cold, rainy day, one that didn't end until the procession happened to turn a lap at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was about memories for Jarrett.
I remember rolling into Speedway the first time with him. I was in like an 8th grade. Every other time he got in, he drove. But he was like, you know, this was a big deal, you know, and that to me really stuck out to me.
Slow and poignant, with the scoring pylon lit up, all arranged by Speedway president Doug Bowles.
It was funny because Doug asked me, I said, you know, would you like to get out and kiss the bricks? And this was probably 3 or 4 hours after Dad had actually passed, and I was on the phone, and I could hear Dad goes, no, only winners get to kiss the bricks. You know, I could hear him, and I said, nope. I said, nope, Doug. Dad would have not won, you know, he wouldn't want anybody to get out. And I think the place that meant the most to him was only fitting for him to take the final lap at. And the rain and all the other things that go along with it, you know, just made it, you know, that much more maybe somber.
It's a career that took him from sprint cars to kart.
And the Gold Coast IndyCar Grand Prix goes to John Andretti.
From Cup to a cause. Here's the thing, you haven't heard the last of John Andretti.
Race for Riley rolls on, and your dad would have it no other way, right?
No.
Jarrett is carrying on John's work at Riley, his hospital visits, his karting event now approaching year 24, and of everything he's done, perhaps this is what means the most.
Just the amount of people that after Dad passed, the amount of Riley kids that reach out sometimes weekly to me. And, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? You know, how can I pray for you? And it's like, how can I pray for you? Like, it's like one of those things that they're so caring.
Jarrett's goal is to help Race for Riley climb over the $5 million mark. There's little doubt that racing's loss has been real this year, but a lasting tribute to a true champion is even more so.
It's quite a legacy when you think about it, you know?
Yes. And everybody's volunteered, and they're all dedicated to making this thing grow and continuing it for the years to come.
That was Sports Director Dave First reporting. John is also Marco Andretti's godfather, a special Indy 500 family. We'll be right back. Race fans in Speedway who received a special delivery. The 33 drivers in tomorrow's race took to Main Street in Speedway and went to the homes of some lucky race fans. The drivers with their masks are pulled up in a Camaro with Indy 500 themed gift bags. All the deliveries were done, of course, socially distanced. Brenda Ham was stunned when she saw Marco and Mario Andretti in her front yard.
Oh my gosh, utter surprise and excitement. My all-time favorites. I love Mario, and it's Marco's year, and what could be better?
Brenda was excited. She's been an Indy 500 fan for 30 years, and maybe this Camaro Caravan will become a new tradition next May, since, of course, all the 500 drivers are usually seen in the festival parade, but that event was canceled because of the pandemic, Kyle.
Great day for the convertible out there and that parade, and tomorrow a nice day for the race day forecast here. Just that stray shower chance as we go into the afternoon. Temperatures in the 80s.
Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Our next newscast tonight at 11. Have a great Saturday evening.